Alrighty, Doc here from North America. Happy Tuesday. What do we got going on today? Good morning, good evening, and good afternoon. Let's mix that up, right? There's the Swiss. You can see it a little bit firmer. Not on, let's change that on the other one right there. There we go. You can see not on the actual, it's down for the day. But right now on the J4, it's just showing you that up with that hinky ashy thing going on. And then at the same time, you can see we are still lifting there, just like we are lifting there. So everything is moving along just basically fine, and even we have two green dots. See that right there? And just like they have two hinky ashy greens, and that's what we use this for. What you're really doing is it's replacing or trying to emulate my dots. Notice how I threw a red in there. We have nothing there, but it has a green. That's quite all right. Just neutral is fine too, and so forth and so on. So working out pretty well today. We see that the dollar is a little weaker, nothing major. We are in that weekly buy now for a couple of weeks there on the Swiss, so it's pretty firm, pretty steady. And hey Daniel, how you doing? Good morning to you. Oh, Douglas, I'm sorry. Good morning, Douglas. Sorry about that. Hello, Douglas. Another fun-filled day here. So you can see the dollar is a little bit weaker, and I don't think it means a lot. These little squiggles and squaggles, unless my math changes, that's what the real thing is. After that, it's not really these squigs and squags and twists and turns. Markets are very thin, or not these. Obviously, the currencies are the most. If you're going to look at a product that has a lot of depth to it, the currencies are it. But overall, the markets are a thin product overall since 2008. Since the beginning of the disaster, the financial disaster, that changed the whole world economy and the way things trade. Now we have quantitative easing and so forth, so it's a whole different animal, I guess you could say. And so that's where we are at the moment. And you can see the dollar, just a little weaker, nothing major. We'll see what goes on, see if it, fills in the opposite direction, so forth and so on. Let's see, where are we at else? What else can we say about that? Nothing particular, really. You see that right there. All right, so let's jump over to the euro and see what the euro's doing. Now, you can see on fact check right here, where's that? Line 21, you see that there. 2 weeks in a buy and 1 day in a sell. And just double check that again. I thought we were in a buy. Okay, yes, no. It's in a buy, so that one belongs in the other spot there. Don't ask me why my instincts told me to go look at that, but I did. All right, so let's fix that right there. And that's a 1 in a buy. And heading for a 2 unless they drive it down more, which I kind of doubt they will. There we go. All right, let's jump over to the euro and see what the euro is doing here this morning. Let's see. Put it up on the Chicago Quant right there. You can see it's moving up a little bit, so it's kind of firm, just like the Swiss is firm at the moment. We'll slide it in over here onto J4X. There we go. So you can see, we're moving up, trying to get into the buy there today now. We got a red and a green, so we got some volatility starting to kick up. Same thing going on in J4X. See that right there? It is trying to get through the buy, just like this is right here. Good. So the action is moving along just right. And they're even throwing a hinky ashy in there in a green pattern. So that's awful nice. Means it's been trying to do this for a little while now. What else can we say about that in the weekly buy? Right there, you can see that 3 full weeks in a weekly buy. You can see it there on line 14. And you can see we were 5 days in a sell, starting off in this area here. And we're making an attempt to go, to the plus side. As we take a sip of water there, sorry about that. So, do we see anything else going on in this particular product? Not really. A little disappointed in the sense of how tight the euro has become. Not a lot of pretty stories about the euro of late. ECB is being somewhat, sloppier than usual, I guess you could say. And Draghi was so good. He really was, running the currency much better than Christine Lagarde. She is, showing that her history shows the same abilities that we see now at the ECB. So, a total bureaucrat is not. I mean, Draghi is a bureaucrat, but he's a good bureaucrat. He was able to front run it with his son. Nothing I don't think ever happened about that either. And he was able to get a lot done without having to put out much money through the European Central Bank. He did a lot of good for the currency. But Christine Lagarde seems to have this thing tightly going nowhere. All right, let's look at cable. The emancipated cable, there it is, in a daily buy for, I guess we're going to put that in there. It's like for a couple days now. Let's see how, I think we have that one day, was it? Line 13? No, 2 days we have it in there as a buy. I don't know where that red and green came in at. But in the end result is that we are in a daily buy for 2 full days and going on a third, and we are starting to get to that 50 percentile again. On this particular product, I'm going to change the color of that to the background. Let's do it that way. Yeah, maybe that makes it a little better. You can see here, we're looking at the Fibonacci sequence on this one because one of the webinarist traders that come in to the crowd here was asking about Fibonacci, and we had a discussion and we left it up there. It's fine with me. And it's funny, there's the Bollinger Band on there too. And then what we did is we emulated the Bollinger Band. Maybe we should make this darker. Let's see if they go like that. Nah, that doesn't show up well, does it? And you can see there's the Bollinger Band right there, the red and the green. And then you can see our time manifolds and how the time manifold is kind of more advanced to it. And notice how it bottoms here, but the Bollinger Band is moving down still and ours is moving up, that type of thing. So that's pretty cool. So we're doing a lot of experimentation, I guess you could say, when it comes to the cable. We have traders here looking at Bollinger Bands. They're looking at what's the other one? Fibonacci Sequence, and then putting Doc's math into that. Boy, is that a fun one or what? And you can see the different, I guess we could change the way we see the sequence there. So in other words, we could make them all like dashed lines or something like that. Maybe that would make it a little bit easier if we put them in as dashed lines. And dashed there, and that, like that. There we are. Does that make them better to see? I don't know. Anybody look at that? Tell me if they see that as more coherent or less coherent. But you can see how it's playing with the 50 percentile right there. See that right there? It says 50 percentile. And we're even going after a weekly. We can throw in one of those cute little circles I like to throw in. Look at that. We're going after the weekly too. And a lot of traders here know that I really think that this product is a really good product. I really do. I think that the British pound has great potential, just like China has great potential. Everybody says China has great potential, and they're a communist country. And so, if China has great potential with 1 billion people, then you've got to think that the Commonwealth and Britain in particular must have a super potential, solely because it has 2 billion people with an income bracket of 13,000+, almost 14. And in China, they claim it's 11,000. So it's almost like twice as good as China. That's the way I see it. And they're able to innovate. They don't have to steal too much technology. That's pretty cool for the Commonwealth. So that's my opinion about the Commonwealth and Britain in particular. Alrighty. So there we go. You can see the buyers are reaching for the product, and it's been that way for a couple of days. You can see it on there, that fact check. But what's nice is we've been in this weekly sell. Where was it at? We went to the weekly sell up. Oh, we didn't even lift that. We went into the weekly sell here back at the beginning of August. August? No, maybe. That's September, right? Yeah, no, September. I'm sorry, it's September. We're in September now, beginning of September. So you're only talking about 2 weeks. And it goes into a weekly sell, the close of that week, and here, right? Goes into a sell. and it doesn't really go down much. I mean, it goes down and challenges the Fibonacci, and it starts to march back up again. Boy, that bounce there, too bad that didn't jump into a buy, But the next day it did, and here we are now. Now it's the winner chicken dinner thing starting to happen. And so there we are with the cable. Now, let's jump over to Turkish lira. I saw that go into the daily sell yesterday. But look at that, the weekly's still flirting with the upside. So we're going to have to put the little circle-y thing in there. Like that. What will be interesting is when we go over to the euro against the Turkish lira, see how that's doing. There we are. And so you can see we're trying to lift up in here. If we tighten this up a little bit like so, you can see it's got room to go on the upside there. See how it looks over on the J4X. And there it is, Turkish lira. Somewhere. There it is. It's not that. There. And I'm now curious. I can't wait to see what it's doing against the euro against the Turkish lira. There. It's trying to lift up. A little weakness in here, still like ours, so that's interesting. And then let's go over to Turkish lira, euro Turkish lira, and you can see there doing the same thing. We got a daily trying to lift up again. Cool. We went into the sell yesterday. Now it's fighting to go back into the buy, and at the same time the weekly is getting very firm, I guess you could say. See it there, it's trying. Another day or two up here, this could push it into the weekly buy. And that would be interesting since it's been in the weekly sell. Now this has much more continuity to it, more consistency. Look at that, it's been in the sell since the 1030 area, maybe even 1040 area. And it went down to the, what was the low there? 992, and the low there was 986. And now we are flirting back and forth a little bit. So that's very impressive with that product. It really is. It really is. Let's see, what else can we say about the Turkish lira? Just that it looks like I guess what it really is the sellers are coming in. And when it goes up in value, Turkish lira is less valuable for the population. It takes more Turkish lira to buy something outside the country. That's the sad part about that. Alrighty, now what we'll do is we'll drift over to Canada. Canadian is seems to relate to this. I think it's just a dollar characteristic, nothing more. But because one has a lot of oil wealth and a lot of minerals, and the other is not as lucky, let's say. And so there is the Canadian. And let's see what we got here. Let's find it over here. There it is. There's the Canadian here, dollar CAD. And you can see it's moving down against the dollar. So it's doing the opposite now of what the Turkish lira is doing. We've been in a daily sell for 2 days now. Right there. Let's just double check our fact check spreadsheet there. Yep, there it is. I do remember trying to put the 1 into the US. Matter of fact, I'm starting to wonder. I think we may go look at Euro AUD because I kind of thought it does look familiar. We'll have to take a look and see because remember I put that in by hand looking on the charts. We may go to that Euro AUD right at the end after we do Mexican peso today. You can see here the Canadian is trying to move down. We're still in that weekly buy for, what's that? Where's it on the spreadsheet? 14 weeks. Whoa. That's a long time. Nice. So we've been in a buy since here. It's been, I guess, zigzagging its way up and higher. Ooh, look at that. A higher high, a higher high, a higher high, and a three of them. And so, matter of fact, I guess you could say there's a fourth right there. And that's the third, and that's the fourth right there. And now we're going to see if it starts to develop lower lows, giving us some indication that the pressure is on. Fascinating. Simply fascinating, Captain. Right there. Just put the red in there. There we are. And so that's the Canadian today. And normally what we do is we jump over to gold and silver, and then we go to the South African rand, see if it all correlates together. Now the South African rand has been moving down nicely. Gold has been sideways. Had that runnerish look. It's still hanging in the weekly buy, as you can see on the spreadsheet. And that's line 5 or 6. 5 weeks in the buy. Now let's jump over to the metal complex and take a peek. And there it is right there. There's gold. Gold is trying to move down a little bit. You can see that. I could have sworn it was just sitting here yesterday too at 87, 88. So it's actually a little bit higher than when it was in the webinar yesterday. And then what we'll do is we will go over to, where we go over to? We'll go over to, let's see, so it's combo Forex. I see. Okay. We're going to close that and check out the gold on Chicago. And there it is. And it's showing a little weakness, 791, but I could have sworn yesterday we were trading in that 87 area. I remember that. I remember looking at that and seeing, oh, 87. So it didn't finish off there, though. We had it closing at 94.8 yesterday. So it closed at 94.8. So it's a little bit firmer than yesterday. We got those reds going on. Let's switch it over to here. There it is right there, kind of showing that weakness for a bunch of days now. And there's the weekly. It's holding on tight. Holding on tight. Maybe this bottom in here will give us the juice, and we'll see this thing lift up, and this will start to turn back up. You gotta wonder. I mean, everybody in there, you know, everybody is just staring at where to run to. Every day I hear the same story over and over. You know what? You know, 5-10% stock market retracement. You know, 50% of them say they should lighten up, and 50% say they should hold on and buy more. I say, as I've always said, what all traders say, never fight the Fed. If the Fed wants the market to go up, it's going to go up. If the Fed wants the market to go down, the Fed will take it down. And right now, the Fed has no interest in taking the markets down. So any slam is just going to add renewal of energy into the upside of the stock market. There's a ton of do-re of me. Oh, what do we got here? Let's see, what do we got here? Okay. Let's see. That's something going on here. Wow. Cool. All right, just checking something. Excellent. There we go. All righty. So that is what that is. You know, we see the, I have to read that thing there. And so it's what it is. There we go. And what we're probably seeing is a nervous go no direction market that doesn't know how to, you know, basically there's nowhere else to go. You know, bond markets have no return in money. money managers are trying to make money. That's what their job is. And so you got to figure that what the issue really comes down to is the only thing game in town is the U.S. stock market to a great extent, and obviously some of the world stock markets with the highest caliber of product, like a Siemens type of thing, that type of thing. Obviously, at Deutsche Bank, forget about it. It's dead, like the way Lloyd's of London is, and the way Citibank is in the United States, and so forth. So you can't go that way. But you just have to realize that unfortunately, these currencies reflect the lost direction of equities overall. And let me think, what else we got going on there? I think that's about it when it comes to the Canadian and the metal. Now let's take a look at crude oil, and then we'll see if the South African rand, which should be still heading down a little bit, you would think, right? I would. All right, let's just check that out. Right there, and there is crude. It's moving up a little bit. And we'll see it over here on J4X. Crude is moving up a little bit. In the 71 area now, so cool. And what else we got going on there? We've got, I'm trying to think. Guess that's about it. You can see these two particular products, gold and crude, are looking firm. Now we are, like I said, we are stuck in that daily sell in the gold, but it's in a weekly buy still. So now let's jump over to the South African rand. See how that's doing against the dollar right there at 14.17. And we'll also put it up on the screen here. Dollar rand. It's around here somewhere. There it is. And you can see it's just firm or flat, I guess you could say, but it's trying. And so that's pretty much the name of the game. That is the name of the game. That's where we stand. The battle of gold and silver. We sometimes hope that the South African rand is giving us the right direction. In this case here, it's telling us, don't be too disturbed. It's trying to tell us that they're taking it down. So maybe that means that there will be more buyers in the metals complex. But again, you can't fight the Fed, and that's probably the biggest thing of all, is that fighting the Fed is just impossible. They're going to do what they want to do, and there's not going to be anything stopping them. That's pretty much the way it goes. All right, so there we go. Now let's take a look at the rub. Let's check out the ruble. Rub, right there. Moving down a little bit. That's just that's kind of interesting too. Remember, as this goes down, the dollar is going down. So that's kind of cool. But unfortunately, look at that. It's playing around with the daily buy at the moment. But it's a tight range, so there's not much meaning in there. Let's take a look at it on J4X. J4X, right there. Rub. Matter of fact, there's not even any. Excuse me. Excuse me. I'm trying to find the dots. Where's the dots at in this thing? There. Oh. No green dots at all. My goodness. Maybe we can set it to scale or something. I don't know. Scale? Screen? It's a little bit better. There we are. Let's see if we can change the color. There we are. It's a little bit better, isn't it? Yeah. But look at that. There's not much even green dots going on. There's 3 days where there's no dots. Look at that. There, there, and there. No dots at all. Look at that one. No dots. 1, 2, 3, 4 days before it had a dot. That's fascinating. That is something. It does that, isn't that? Wow. It goes in a red dot and then no dots. It goes down in the sell. In this case here, went into the buy there. Goes into the daily sell there. Nothing stopping it, that's for sure. Flip-flops a little bit there, and then now we're trying to get into the buy. So that's pretty wild. Alrighty, now let's, what's the next thing we got going on there? Let's see, we're going to go over to, let's see, so we go from, oh, yen. Let's check out the yen. There's the yen. And that's trying to get into a daily buy today with a down candle, of course, but that's quite all right. And you can see here, it's trying to climb into the weekly buy, so we can put a little circly thing in there. So that's kind of cool. And we've been in a sell since here, and it's gone nowhere. Just flatlined. Just totally flatlined. Let's make that greenish. Makes the circle-ish grayish. And there you go, you can see it. So, again, when this goes up, kind of the dollar goes up. So, yeah, the mixed message we see by a lot of these pairs, you know, the South African Rand one tries to tell us that there's more strength in the metals complex. The Canadian is telling us that, you know, and we see, and the oil complex with Canadian too, you know, and we're seeing that, and here we are, we're seeing the dollar getting stronger, and that's kind of, I guess that's the way it works. Yeah. I guess that's the best way to say it works. Yeah. Alrighty. Alright, what's next here, traders? Let's jump over to the Mexican peso. There. Dollar peso. Oh, I just saw him. There it is. As you see there, trying to move down more. We're in that sell for 3 days now. There. Not sure what a line. I knew we put that line in there yesterday. I hate when it does that, or Friday too. I gotta remember to save it. Let's see, I guess I'll move this one over like that. And then go like that one there. And then save. And save. So there's where we are. You know, you can see the peso trying to drift down. At the same time, we see the weekly trying to turn up. We'll see. This could just basically start to get momentum on the downside a little bit. I don't really expect the peso, when looking at the peso overall, it's been pretty calm, you know, since April. Really sideways. This is what happened in March. You know, it ran up from that calm area. Let's move that over a little bit. See how that was. Calm area. Okay, so we were up in this area, and then it got a lot of strength in it, then it popped back up after the election, or a few months, like 4 months later into the election. Now it's moving back into that calm zone. You would almost, in many ways, as a trader and you know, a technician, you would think that the natural instinct is for this thing to stay in that range for a while. At least that would be the way I would think about it. That's the way it would look to me. So that is that. Now, let's see. Guess that's about it there. You know, just shows that little pressure. Now, I want to run over real quick just to double check that other product. I remember doing that last night, and it's the euro against the Euro, again, right there. Euro Aussie. Just want to double check that. So it did go into the sell yesterday, okay. So I thought. I could have sworn that was a 1. And it's still 1 right now. And somehow or another, some of the stuff didn't get saved. Where's that at? Euro Aussie. So that was into a sell. Tab. I remember getting. Is that a cap? A cap. That's probably what happens when I go to punch it in sometimes. 1. There. There we are. So that did close in a sell last night. It's still holding there now, but you can see it's a little bit firmer today. And we're in the weekly buy for a full week, going on a second week now. Okay, that's fine. But I could have sworn that, I remember the Swiss being in a daily buy, and seeing the 1 in the sell column surprised me. So it made me double check that. All right. Let's save that. Right there. Save. There we go. All right, now, let's see. I don't see anything else. Let's see. Nothing else jumping out. So I've resolved that issue, which makes me happy. And now what we'll do is we'll drift back over to the metals complex and the energy complex and see what's going on with that. Unless anybody has a question. Douglas says, yeah, bet Doc, no way to go. Yeah, you know, there isn't. You know, I mean, the markets have no other choice. There just isn't. I mean, money managers are paid to find profits. They're not going to get their 20 and 10. You know, if they don't do that, you know, I mean, that's what it comes down to. You know, they're 20 and 1, the 1% management fee and the 20% profit. So they've got to do something, and they've got to make it sound like they know a little bit better than the market. There's a lot of people, ever since John Vogel from Vanguard really came out pushing the idea that money funds could not compete with his sector funds. You know, so in other words, hedge funds and mutual funds and so forth, stock picking just does not do it because of the management costs. And so that's where we really are at this point in the era. So, all right, let's see what else we got going on here. Let me just save this. Save space. Save workspace as La Bingo. Yes. All right, now let's jump over to the energy sector and the metal sector again. Right there? Yeah, right there. There we go. As you can see, crude oil moving up towards its highs of the last month and a half. If we tighten that up a little bit, or yeah, I guess tighten it up, we'll do it. Let's see, where's that at? There's a little tightening tool. There it is, right there. Yep, wrong one. Yeah, so it had parked itself in the 76 area. Maybe we're going to go see that 76 again. We're back into the weekly buy after a nice long run in the weekly buy. Then we went into 2 hesitations where we go into a weekly sell, weekly buy, weekly sell. And remember, real confusion here. We go into a buy, and bad data really made it messed up. We go into daily sells here, and then they take our sells out of it, which was like back in here. But end result is that this is where we are. So that, remember, we used to keep a block there saying bad data. Now I found out how to change that bad data, so that's a good thing. So at this point, it doesn't surprise me as we get some strength in it. And then there's natural gas. And that's natural gas again today. You know, it just keeps on finding ways to go up, which keeps on screaming to me, maybe we're going to have a very cold winter. Since I think we're going into an ice age, I mean, not tomorrow afternoon, but, you know, I think that the Earth is moving in towards an ice age since we're a 10-year average of lower temperatures across the average of the planet, it says to me. And we're getting that to go on right now, and we're getting some type of melt in some parts of the world because of the shift of the North Pole now is over, getting deeper and deeper into Siberia. So the North Pole is not up in the Arctic anymore. It is in Siberia. and the South Pole is now heading towards, where the hell is it heading for? It's heading towards the Atlantic. So is it heading for Atlantic? No, it's heading for Indonesia, I guess it is. And the end result, I think the South Pole will be off of the coast of Chile, that area, in the end. So we're seeing melting ice in some places because of the North Pole changing and the South Pole changing. All right, and that's what natural gas seems to say to me. I mean, we've seen natural gas go from $1.50 since the election time, and all the way up to almost, it's at $5.29 now. So it's tripled in price. So I have to believe it's more than just Mr. Biden. I'm sure him screwing things up, it doesn't help any with the pipelines. But more than that is, I'm sure that smart money knows that the demand is there, because that's what they do. Indeed. All right, now where do we go from here? Let's jump over to the metals complex, and again we saw gold. Oh, look at that! Gold has popped out of nowhere. It's jumped $9 since we last looked at it about 10 minutes ago. I know we had some data come out today. Let me see if we can find out what data is. Let's see if we can throw it up on the screen here. Where is it at? Let's do this. Let's put it up on the top screen. Where's that cute little mouse? We had some economic data come out at 8:30. I guess it put some legs into it. Let's see. Let's see, where's that at? There it is. Nope, go back. Go like that. Go like that. There we go. So there it is right there. It's on the Dukascopy calendar. Let's see what the economic data did. There it is today right there. And there it is right there. 8:30 we had consumer prices come out. And that was considered low. And let's see, what else was there coming out? These were high. Consumer price index month over month. So forecast was 4%, and actual was 3%. Year over year was 5.3 versus 5.3, so that was all right. And what was this? Consumer price index fell 0.3%, I guess you could say there, or 3%. No, it would be 0.3%, from 4 to 1. And this the month over month. What's the difference between consumer price index month over month and consumer price index month over month? Either way, both dropped. So consumer prices are dropping, so that's a good thing on inflation, right? Let's see what they're doing in the stock market. That's usually a good way of trying to get a flavor of what is going on. Well, sometimes it is. Let's see. Yes, these things are roaring. When we started this webinar, the Dow Jones Industrial Average was up 20 points. It's up 114 now. The NASDAQ, or the Tech 100, was only up about 3 points. Now it's up 55 points. And the S&P 500, which is the world index itself, was up a point and is now up 14 points. So whatever interpretation you want to make out of it, one thing's for sure is stocks went up and gold went up. Okay, that's an interesting one, yeah. Stocks went up and gold went up. And let's see. I'm going to refresh this. Reload. One day. There we are. And we got a green going. It's trying to get into the plus, and we're still in that weekly. I guess the currencies were telling us that, that they wanted to keep on buying it. Let's see how silver looks. Let's give that a refresh too. There we go. You can see the weekly is actually turned up. Can I throw the little circly thing in and be happy about it? No, it's will it disappear on us again. Maybe this time it'll stick around for a little bit. I don't know. If the stocks are running up and the metals are running up, and I guess the crude oil is moving up too, right? Let's just double check that there. There's crude oil. Let's give that a refresh also. And that's moving up. So I guess they're buying it all. Buy the stocks, you buy the gold, you buy the silver, buy it all. I guess the transitory thing is chilled out. Matter of fact, let's take a look at that and see what. Let's see if there's a headline. Let's see if we can do that. There it is. Let's see if there's a headline. From Zero Hedge. Stocks and gold spike after CPI miss. Dollar nosedives. Okay, right there, right on the headline there. So, is the Fed going to taper because of inflation, which it always viewed as transitory, or is an ever higher stock market fragility be the trigger? I don't know. Yeah, that's the other thing I was talking about earlier. Are there too many bears looking for a correction? I think so. U.S. consumer prices miss expectations for the first time since October. Is this merely the Delta variant impact creating an illusion, or transitory? Let's see. China to sell 7.38 million barrels of crude oil. Yeah, I saw that from the reserves. That was yesterday. So, yeah, interesting. CPI. Wow, there's a lot of CPI there. Preview, watch for a jump, non-transitory OER. Well, obviously so, huh? So the stock market took off from it. The metals market took off from it. All good there, huh? Yeah, that's what they said. They sold the dollar. Let's take a look at the euro. Because it was a minus earlier. Yeah, look at it. It's a plus now. Oh, no, I guess it was plus. Because I remember saying that it's matching up to the Swiss franc, and Swiss franc was plus also against the dollar. So yeah, it's still holding on to that towards the highs of the day right now. Yeah, thank you, Douglas. Yeah, interesting action, and we're in that weekly buy, and right there was it cable. Cable still holding up firm. Tarzan. Swinging on a rubber band. Yeah. Look at that thing go. Yeah, as I said earlier, if China has 1 billion people and an $11,000 a year income, and Great Britain is connected to the Commonwealth that has 2 billion people and $13,000 average, which product would you rather have? I'll take the cable over the Chinese yuan. So I think that's the answer to that one, huh? That's right. All right, now where do we go from here? Let's jump over to the stock indices. Oh wait a minute, we didn't even look at. We looked at silver. Let's go down to that. We looked at silver. Let's take a look at copper and platinum and see if the gang is all there. So, let's see, what did I say? Silver and copper. So there is silver, and that's moving down. And I guess it's still moving down. I guess if we try to refresh just today to see if it changes any. Ah! Lost it. Where'd it go? How did that happen? How did it disappear on us? There it is. Okay. So it's coming back up. That's what it's doing. Made lows and it's coming back up. Then over in the platinum region, let's see what the platinum is looking like. There's October platinum. October platinum is battling its way towards the lows of the day still. So everybody buy silver and gold and short platinum. I guess that's the name of that game, huh? And so the euro is showing its strength. Hooray for it. And let's see what else we got going on there. I guess that's about it. There's the metals complex, and there is the energy complex. So now what we'll do is we'll drift over to the stock complex. Unless anybody wants to see something, just let me know, and we'll tune in on it. But there it is right there, and we'll go back to the beginning. Yeah, 7:30, right? Let's do it right there. There's 7:30. So that's where the news came out, right there. Let's move that over a little bit for you. Yeah. So it was going down, 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 and then the news was coming, and the front runners started to know. People who in the know started to lift it up. They should always look at who's doing these transactions right there after going down. Then, especially going into the news, you know, I mean, really, you know, honestly, it's classic front running. And then bang, the news comes out and it runs up, and it goes from what is that? From 456. Let's round it out to 457, and it runs in a matter of 1 minute. It runs to, what did I say? It runs 18 points. 18 points. That's like a 180 point move in the Dow Jones Industrial Average in under a minute. Boom. And we'll take a look at the Dow just to, look at that and see how it did. And so, where's it at? Right here. Now look at the front running going on in that. So somehow or another at 7:16, no problems. It's been going down, you know. It's down, up a little bit, and down, and it's just no problem there. It's been going down, you know, weakness, and then somebody knows something's going on. What the number's going to look like. Obviously, these people know it too. And then you can see here that's there is 7:24. Now remember, the news comes out at 7 right there. So it goes from 34,758 to, in, let's see, in 1 minute, basically it goes to 8:52 from 7:30. 7:58. It goes 100 points. So it goes 100 points. You know, nowhere near, and it's trying to back off a little bit. But it's always it always amazes me that front running goes on, and no one seems to be able to police it. They don't look at who's done these trades, and they don't see it in the news. Like, how did they know to get long? 10 minutes or 5 minutes before the news. How did they know? I mean, Janos put a great little report out and webinar video about how you can't trade the fundamentals anymore. And I always talk about it. It always sticks in my head. And then here you go. Here's the NASDAQ 100 or the Tech 100 on Dukascopy. At 7:24, it's bouncing a little bit. The front runners know. Look at that, all the way up to right there. They started pushing it up from 50 points. They pushed it up 50 points from there to there. Then it goes from 50 points. So it goes from, was that 30? Oh, no, wait, this is the wrong product. That's the Dow. So they moved the Dow Jones Industrial Average up another 50 points in a minute, or within a minute before the news. So there's their 150 points. Now let's take a look at the NQs, right there. And there it is at 7:30. They were firming it up, but nothing like that was only 20 points. Then it goes from the news. It goes from 423 within a minute. 423. It goes to 63. So it goes 40 points, not 50, but 40 points, and then slowly grinds its way up. Now it's just going sideways. How do they know, huh? All right. And you know what we should do is let's look at it through my mathematics. Let's see how well my math picks up on it. See that? My math is picking up on it. It's going into buys. Where's the green dots? Format indicator. 6. I don't know how that got. But let's just do this. Okay. Where is it? Where is that at? Where are you? Format. And scaling to the screen. There you are. close. So my math picks up the buying. Where does it pick it up? It picks it up at 7:15. It picks up all the buying that's starting to go on in here. And then at 7:15, my math is turning up on it. So, a lot of times my math will pick up the front running. And you can see how it breaks off here for the down move. Okay. Let's just check it out on, that was S&P 500. Let's see the Dow. Same thing with the Dow. My math starts to pick it up here half hour earlier and catches the ride. And then NQ's, same situation right there at 7:20. Right on the numbers. So this is like the least front run out of all of it. Funny. All right. How do they know? How do they know? Okay. All right. Where else do we go? Let's go take a look at them on a daily basis. See what's going on there. They've all been pushing into sells, and the Dow Jones Industrial Average is also flirting. It went into the weekly sells too, so it has been in a weekly sell already. So now let's go over to the daily, and let's check that out. Right there. Oh no, it's already there. You're not seeing what I was talking about. Oh my goodness. Everything I just did there, you didn't see, you just heard. I'm so sad. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this real quick so you can see it. And I'm just not going to talk about it. There's 730 right there on the S&P 500. And then here is the NASDAQ. Same situation. The 730 right there. And last but not least, the Dow Jones Industrial Average right there. There's the 730. And how I told you all the math picked up, you could just see it right there. Now, let's run back over to right there. Let's see how the daily is looking. So there is the daily on the S&P 500. And it's trying to lift. Look at that. But the weekly and the daily are still perking down. So this may be one of those things where they sell it by the end of the day again. Then, yesterday they sold everything down for hours. And then somehow or another, miraculously, buyers came in at the end of the day. Like, oh, here, I'll show you. Let's go back up to the top after I'll do the daily on that. But yeah, that's freaky, isn't it? How do you do that? Don't fight the Fed. And then here's the same thing right there. You can see this hasn't gotten into a sell yet on the weekly sell, just the daily sells. That's a Tech 100 or NASDAQ 100. And then there's the Dow Jones Industrial Average. It's in a weekly sell for this whole little slide here. And at the same time, right there, you can see it's pressing its way up. Nowhere. It's not. Just a little bounce here from this big sell-off on Friday. So it's trying. Now, let's, what was I thinking about? I know I was thinking about something. Oh yes, let's look and see what it looked like at the end of the day. Because I was astonished. Let's go to that. So at the end of the day yesterday, which is 1500, I think it is. Let's find it. So what does it do? It goes to, yeah. So 1500. That's it right there. Okay. So this is the close of the New York right there. And somehow or another, between that last hour, look at that, just the last hour, markets are down low. You know, the Dow Jones is playing with the 34,600 area, and somehow or another it closes at 3750, 150 point move back up. Exactly. You know, just like the last half hour. You know, it's like bang, let's knock that puppy down so we can buy it cheaper. Tell our friends and family. And NASDAQ, same situation yesterday. We go to the 15 area. That's the close of the New York. And there it is, no more than, wow, that's even worse. Was it? It ran from 15,395. Let's move that over a little bit. Talk about front running. So it was at 15,340. Is that the low of the day? an hour beforehand. So it went from 15,340 to close at 15. Right there, 15. Went up 100 points. 430. 100 points in an hour. And then there's the S&P. We'll probably see the same action. So let's see, where's that? Right there. Basically, there's the close in here at 4,464, and an hour earlier, not even an hour earlier. Let's see. The low was, yeah, there's an hour earlier at 4,435. So it went up 20 points. It's just a, you know, why did it even have a Securities Exchange Commission? All right, and that's it, what it is there. You know, there's front running going on. Probably the Federal Reserve trying to make more money. You see where those two, I started talking about that yesterday, and we got lost. About the two Fed presidents who have lots of stock in their portfolio, and they're being yelled at by, I forget who's complaining. Somebody's complaining. You know, probably like some Republicans are probably complaining, like, how do you do that? Why aren't you in a blind trust? When the Democrats are like, leave him alone, let him make his money. Remember Mrs. What's her name? The Speaker of the House. She came into the job worth not even $1 million. You know, probably like worth half a million, or not even. Maybe she was bankrupt. Who knows? And now she's worth a couple $100 million, and she only gets paid $200,000 a year. So she's, you know, her husband's always trading options and stocks all the time. Oh my God. Alrighty. Anyway, that's how the markets work, traders, and our math is usually ahead of the curve. So we're just a lucky bunch of kids here. What else can we say? I guess that's about it. Pelosi, that's it. Yep, Mrs. Pelosi. Amazing. And now they own a bunch of banks too. I understand they own like 5 or 6 banks. I mean, they actually have a banking company that has like 5 or 6 or 7 branches. They got to put that money somewhere, don't they? They're so greedy that they won't even put it into somebody else's bank. They created their own bank. Oh my God. All right, this is Doc from North America. Just looking at the numbers as usual, being me. Happy trails to you until we meet again. Happy trails to you, to all our trading friends. Ta-ta for now, traders. Catch you on Happy